Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry I'm as late as I am. Hello. Hope everybody is doing well today. Now the one thing I never turned on. Yeah. I may just disable it because I am gonna throw my... Oh, Jones charger behind me! But yeah, I had a vet appointment today for Sakamoto, and they decided with absolutely no warning to close down a pretty big chunk of like the main road, which was annoying, and again with like no notice of it happening. So what ended up being, it was gonna be 5 minutes early. I was gonna get there if it was just a straight shot. Turned into 22 minutes late to the appointment. I was getting home was bad though, because I forgot. My brain was thinking, because I saw they only blocked one side, so I thought, oh, they must have only one way blocked. No, they have both. So I had to re-figure out how to get back. It was miserable. All right, so case. We're in court. We have the Skulkin brothers' testimony. They kept lying, and we have eventually come to the truth that there is indeed a third person involved with this case, and this third person actually works as a communications officer. And the more I'm thinking about it, I might have said the last time, I feel like I'm a little off. Yesterday we had the big sample collection day. That was miserable because the shoes I have, I only use them for the sample collection. I don't wear them any other time. But I wore the insoles down to the point where my feet were just in pain. And I had to walk well over, like, oh my god, it was probably 3 miles at minimum. It was like 1.5 going from where I had to park to the first place. And then, you know, after we do the last place on that one side, another mile to get back to the last place in the car. And I've got 2 on the ball of my feet and 1 on the heel on my right foot, blisters, just giant blisters, so it's not fun. The left foot was mostly unscathed though. I only have the 1 blister on the heel that I'm aware of, but it's still a pretty sizable one, so. Alright, so we've got the third part of the trial now. We're gonna be coming back from the recess and getting our new witness here. A man who previously identified as Egbert Benedict, but is in fact a false name, so. (17th of April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Alright, and we are off. Ah, Gina, how are you holding up? Huh. I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards our frequent cold shoulders now.
Jenny! Are you alright?
Why aren't you saying anything? What's the point, eh? I go to all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me. What? Well, you saw it. That picture. What picture? Ah, you mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder. Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that's gonna think I did it, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Surely you've got to have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent. Of course I can. Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night. Bruno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you. All right, then. It was after we'd had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I stepped out and went down to the street to the one, to Winterbank's place. I had to know if Iris' story was there or not. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I don't know what it's about or nothing. Well, if you ask me, there's something in it that Chums don't like. Something what he don't want Bible reading. So that's why he lied to Iris about sticking it in low with Winterbank for safekeeping. At least that's what I thought at the time. I'm mixing accents, it's fine. So you broke into Winterbank's. I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea all that was gonna kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of a wick. That's when. What do you think you're doing? Oh! I nearly died, I did. Next thing I knew. I grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like, I don't know what. Rod, you're the girl who was in here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery. The manuscript. Have you got it here? Did Chums need a little paper with you? Story? I beg your pardon. The Hound of the something or other. If it's here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady. But I'd rather sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers. I don't want it. Why do with it anyway? I just want to see if it's here, that's all. Oh, you want to see it, do you? I want to know if Chums really bond it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you? So then the old girl unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there, alright, the manuscript. Chums weren't lying after all. You did all that just to check for me, Ginny? Anyway, then there was a bit of a kickabout in the main bit of the shop. Just the Skulking brothers arriving on the scene. Yes. What? What was that noise? Someone's breaking in. Dear me, is there some burglars coming in here tonight that I don't know about? I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. I'm sorry. I'd better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back? Oh, well, I'll come with you then. Now, don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances. And with that, I took the gun out of my hands and walked back out into the shop. I hung back in the storeroom like Ace said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help, see? So I was just about to go out the storeroom myself when... Two shots. I heard a couple of gunshots go off. Two, I think. Almost at the same time. And then here he was. Right at my feet, lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storm door, so I slammed it shut and locked it quick as you like. Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Winterbank might come for you? Yeah, so I went to grab the old co's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Winterbank was a goner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kinda dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. It must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I've done, the old cove might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did! But they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was, if I keep telling lies, it'll make things even worse for me. It'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put the real culprit through the mill. That cove, what was in there that afternoon? What's there in the afternoon? That agate Benedict? I still remember how he looked at me, like I was nothing. He was there that night. We don't know his real name yet. But I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave all in Bruno's capable hands now, Ginny. What's that now, Olo? Yes. How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGilded, we told you a whole pack of lies. And you got the bog trotter off with him, even though he was a killer. No, I could never forget that. Oh. I did what I thought was best at the time. But the pain of the error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another kill off the hook for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who'd done it. Oh, Bruno. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend. Ryunosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest. I was so happy, I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. What are you saying? I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep on believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. Even though I'm a diver and a no-good liar. You're not like McGilded. I know that. Eh? That's right! You're a friend, Ginny! Iris. We know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust. Yes! That's really all we need to know. Exactly! Mr. Naoto, I... Defendant Gina Lestrade and a legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately. Yes, of course. Thank you. I've been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time. So I only know So I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is it at last. The final chapter. The final battle. Wish me luck, Susato-san. And I hope you're watching over me too, partner. April 1:41 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Zeeks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness? The subpoena was delivered to the communication station when the man works immediately, my lord.
However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem.
I see. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Gregson's presses of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector.
Yes, I can only apologize, my lord.
And although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom.
It's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me. A very big mistake.
My lord! The subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building.
Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Eggert Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon. But certainly not like this.
Thank you for complying with the court's subpoena on such short notice, sir.
But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of London society, it is my pleasure to oblige.
Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Graydon, communications officer. Mr. Graydon and I both work at London Central Communications Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume? Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at a pawnbroker's on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know.
Very well. Without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath.
Gladly, my lord. Gladly. Witness testimony! The accusation. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. Even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene. Scaramouche detective's homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence.
So, you deny the accusation completely, do you?
I must say I am dismayed. Will the highest courts in the land be swayed by this self-professed detective's toy? It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld. Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today. By golly! How long am I expected to be detained here?
If following the defense's cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately.
Good. Then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation at least.
Let's not hold up Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary, counsel. Proceed with the cross-examination.
So, we meet again, Mr. Edgar Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon? My apologies, you are... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met. If you say so. Ashley Graydon, enchanté. So. Ah! I trust we can conclude this quickly. Ugh. But I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do. Alright, cross-examination for the accusation. Let's get this going. Alright, let's ask about the pawnbroker. Actually, you know what? We may be able to pinpoint. Are you seriously suggesting... Why don't we press the statement here, statement 2, colluding with the thugs to break in the night of the murder. Have you seen these two men before? This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals. Said by a man who introduced himself as Egbert Benedict. I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer there in the black. This is a farce. Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in a British court anyway? Well, needless to say, I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. Alright, we're gonna press statement 4. Claim the blood was found. Certain parties claiming blood found at the scene. Hold it! Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Sholmes' chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such. But I'm not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? How can you be so sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants. Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholmes' chemical is able to differentiate different blood samples by... Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Sholmes character, anyway? Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a great, well, a renowned detective. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say, great detective. A great detective, you say? Now in the realm of fairy tales, are we? Oh? Excuse me! Why'd you scoff at that? Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin?
What, me?
No, the Mr. Skulkin next to you.
Right, I've had it up to here with this. How many times have I gotta tell you?
Yes, I know. You're not Big Bruv Sulky. Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Quit behind me, Governor. You what?
It's not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind. Would you care to share that thought with the court? A little higher pitch.
My thoughts? I don't have none of them. What's been him? You what?
Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke?
Nothing, honest, Gov, nothing. I was just thinking. If he waves his arms around like that much more, it'll open up the wound again, that's all.
Uh-oh. Oh! What wound?
Well, it took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. I ain't gonna be healed up yet. So I was, well, yeah, no. I was worrying for him, man. Oh, elves bells.
Mr. Graydon, did you hear that?
What?
Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm.
My lord. Yes, Mr. Graydon.
I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm, or thereabouts. Perhaps you'd allow a court official to examine your arms, sir? The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand, as if in pain. No, I refuse. Huh. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all of this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at the insinuation that I was in any way involved.
You claim to have had nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery?
My lord, the defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
And now we present the disc! The bottom line is, I've never had anything to do with the pawnbroking establishment where the man was killed. Disc time! Present that! Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why? Is that supposed to mean something? This disc was, until the day of his murder, in pawn in Mr. Windibank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? As I've reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life. It may have escaped your notice, but there's a small smear of blood on the disc.
Ah, yes, resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps.
That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of this smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch.
Good gracious, indeed it must.
Mr. Graydon. You refuse to allow the court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on this disc. Well. It would seem I underestimated you.
What is the meaning of this?
So, you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant?
Order! Order! Well, Mr. Graydon.
It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of pawn? What?
It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now.
As you wish.
Though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder.
Witness testimony, the disc of doom.
There's a note on the disc saying, for McGilded, but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night. Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGilded, you say? The famous London philanthropist? Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder? Yes, my lord, the one and the same. Good lord, Mr. Graydon! Are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself were acquainted? Yes, that's correct. Order! Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windibanks.
It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming this belongs to him then, isn't it?
In all likelihood, he's lying. So, he appeared that afternoon at Windibanks in order to get his hand on McGilded's disc for some reason.
Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please.
Okay. What statements are the ones that stand out for this cross-examination here? Redemption ticket stolen from me by the accused. The gutter link. So the thing was, there was red text on this, the fifth statement in particular, which makes me want to press statement 5 first. Because part of the thing too, right? Is I have the feeling that the disc is going to tie in with the news, government secrets being leaked to foreign agencies. So let's press statement 5 really quick. Let's start with that. But perhaps you've seen something of value among the forfeited items. Oh no, not at all. Oh. A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or garden bric-a-brac. In that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilded's disc. Have you not been listening, man? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc. You may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. There was no more in the shop that night than as I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break in. So there was nothing of McGilded's left in the shop that night. Nothing this man might have been after. I wonder if that's really true.
Bruno, if you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm dying to see that irritatingly assured expression of his crumble.
McGilded slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had deposited it at Windibanks. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket.
There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pearly white teeth.
Police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilded as well. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day.
But Gregsy's being very strange about all this.
There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. So... So does that mean there's a chance that this... I think I'm gonna present the first ticket. On statement 5.
Objection!
There we go. This disc was deposited at Windibanks on Magnus McGilded's instructions. You knew that. You went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection! Conjecture again. And in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbrokery again that night.
Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true. What? Mr. McGilda had another article in Pawn at Windibanks. As this second pawnbroker's ticket proves. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilda in Windibank's pawnbrokery. And the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with your 2 accomplices, the Skulkin brothers.
This is the second ticket, is it? What had the man deposited?
The article description reads, 1 small box.
A rather vague description, it seems to be.
Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft. That's a good point.
Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument.
So that means for some reason, this Graydon fella needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord.
Would you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zeeks?
I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windibank's pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it. What?
Good gracious!
Inspector, show the photographic prints to the courts, if you please.
Yes, sir!
What prints?
These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras.
Hurley's red-handed recorders again.
As previously explained, using this plan of the shop layout, the victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windibank received his customers, and the other was set to capture the shelves on which articles were placed for sale once forfeited.
According to the information on this ticket, McGilda's small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident, at 9 p.m. on 13th April to be precise. Which means it would have been on the shelves of forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. It's at 11 p.m. on 15th April.
The victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear.
And then here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident.
I see. So we have 2 pictures to compare. Though I must say that placing them side by side leaves me cold. I want to see... Oh, I already see the box that got moved. Also, I do love the fact that there's the Thinker statue on one of the shelves as a nod to previous you know, the first game. where that stupid thinker clock was a key point in 2 different trials. I shouldn't call it stupid. It is kind of a cool clock, but it's kind of worthless because you have to push a button for it instead of just looking at it. But yeah, so bottom right to the left of the stereoscope, that little brown box is shifted, so.
Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache. Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we consider theft as one possible motive in the case. We explore the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. So, your men have already compared these 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector? Yes, sir!
Excuse me.
We counted every single item in each of these 2 photographic prints. And the odd's conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both. In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question. And my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy.
Ah! I don't believe it. If I could have just shown that he'd stolen McGilded's pawn box, I might have been able to break him down at last.
You know what, Bruno? I've been thinking. I wonder if these 2 photographs really are exactly the same.
What?
So, counsel, in the light of the evidence performed by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that, in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
I don't know. Would there be some hidden discrepancy in these 2 photographic prints somewhere? Wait, do we have the stereoscope in evidence? We do. So why don't we use the piece of evidence? I'm gonna use the piece of evidence here. Before I give my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something if I may. Like, I see it, but I'm gonna do this.
Try something? What do you mean, counsel?
I'll need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify the discrepancy.
I'm not entirely sure I follow. Which piece of evidence do you intend to use to help you identify a discrepancy between the 2 prints?
Take that!
I'd like to use this device, my lord, to view the 2 prints stereoscopically.
Ooh! Yes, you've got the bug at last. You can't resist it, can you?
You've got the cross-eyed compulsion. Juror number 3. What a surprise.
Come on, Bruno. Let's put the pictures in place and see what this wonderful contraption shows us. There we go. Now, look through the eyepiece.
I wasn't sure at first, but there is a clear discrepancy between these 2 prints.
What? You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy of which you speak.
Bam! Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there was one minor discrepancy between them.
What?
When you view the two pictures stereoscopically, a single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box.
Let me wait. Unbelievable. By Jove, you're right. How extraordinary.
What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGilded's small box was indeed not stolen from Windibanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves.
Are you suggesting that the small box originally deposited by Mr. McGilded is in fact...
Yes, the very same small box I just identified in those photographic prints.
Objection! Mindless guesswork. What if it was? So, box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means, quite simply, that nothing has changed.
That may be true, but... Alright, McGilded's box wasn't stolen then. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? Changes everything. I believe this changes everything about the case.
How can that possibly be?
The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windibanks as we speak.
Objection! That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can't possibly be relevant to this trial. The court does not uphold your objection, Lord Manzeeks. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination. We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth. To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing. I beg your pardon, Lord Manzeeks. This is nothing but a smokescreen. A Nipponi specialty, it would seem.
What are you trying to say?
My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilded from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place.
Exactly!
It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. If If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGill perished 2 months ago, immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established that he was the upstanding member of society his reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend in his most insightful defense. Huh. The articles this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, and a small box. I assure you, I wouldn't accept even if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me.
You know, that does make rather a lot of sense. It's not as if it was gold or jewels, is it? For goodness knows, Mr. McGilda was rich enough. But you can't deposit cash on pawnbroker. I'm quite certain about that.
The prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling. It is incumbent on the defense now to post such arguments. To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned by this fine citizen could have. Well, counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the disc or the box are in any tangible way related to this case?
Well,
What's the matter, Bruno? We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence.
yes, of course. You and I both know that. We know McGilda's true character. And we know the disc is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explain all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGilda's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. That the defense's argument was flawed, based on false information.
Oh no!
And that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury.
But Ginny...
Could it be that Van Zeek's knows? Is that why he's doing this now? Because he anticipated everything?
But maybe... This could be a great opportunity for us.
Sorry? What do you mean, Iris?
Well, what is it that you were saying, Bruno? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time.
Huh. Alright, the exact significance of the things that McGilda deposited with Mr. Wendebank is something that only Gina can explain to the court. But if I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage our chances of winning this case. What's the right thing to do here? We have to have Gina testify. My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal.
Oh, what proposal, counsel?
While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilda's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand.
The defendant? To what end?
It's to do with the various articles deposited at Windibanks by Mr. McGilda, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all.
Well, things are becoming interesting. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it will have on the accused standing. Indeed, your own.
I have.
Lord Van Zeeks, would you care to explain that last remark? The prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself. Very well, if you have no objection. So, the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. You witnesses currently in the stand may step down until further notice. Then I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. As you wish.
Alright then, Gina. It's time. I know this will be hard, but please, put your faith in me here. Good luck, Reno. The articles that Mr. McGilda had deposited in Windibank's pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago.
Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me in that trial as well.
That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilda.
The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now, here we are, all are again the same players in that trial, facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend.
Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brick maker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilda. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. That the murder in fact took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilda died in this very courtroom, in the most extraordinary of circumstances.
A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on. As indeed does the omnibus murder itself. Be that as it may, I recall neither the disc nor this small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings.
Miss Lestrade. Would you tell the court now, please? What really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean? I don't know what you mean. I already said all what I know. What about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade. This is extremely important.
But
Remember, little girl. If it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts. You have little credibility to lose.
Ginny, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Bruno now. Oh, Iris. We're on your side. All right then. I'll talk.
It's the right choice, Gina.
Well, it would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it. I must confess I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilden's pawned articles and that extraordinary case of the omnibus harbor secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth, a commodity sorely lacking in your original statements.
This is it then. Everything's going to come out. Like Van Zeke said. This could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears. But as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. Witness testimony! The real truth of the omnibus case.
Truth is that Brickmaker Girl was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from over my head, and I pair on the roof deck went off to call the slops. That's when McGilda sipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one what I'd seen or heard.
Good grief, this is outrageous. What you've just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago. As you say, my lord. Then there's every chance I may have adjudicated an error in McGilden's trial. It sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived this court in an effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes. Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in that trial of this witness and of my learned friend are entirely inexcusable.
I don't believe it. The whole trial was a farce. It was all lies. And McGildy fellow was rotten to the core, just like that pickpocket.
Don't forget that lawyer from the East.
You're wrong, the lawyer. Mr. Martin, the lawyer there, ain't know nothing about it. Humbug! I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that? He really stitched everyone up, didn't he? What an operation to get the man off scot-free. Unforgivable! Stop! The lies have to stop! Stop!
Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it is imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony. Because the true significance of McGilda's pawned articles must be brought to light.
Very well, my learned student friend.
Huh.
Given the depths of calamity you have just plunged yourself into, this may be well worth hearing. Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, my lord.
I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial.
Of course, my lord.
Blimey, Mr. Naruhodo.
Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Real truth of the omnibus case. Truth is, Brickmaker was covered in the cabin the whole time. Okay, so we're gonna press statement 4, which is talking about McGilda slipping the driver some money to do a run to the pawn shop. That pawn shop obviously being Windibank's on Baker Street.
Just a moment, counsel. Do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in that trial as well? Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbrokery slipped his mind when he was in the stand. Indeed, Lord Benzies.
McGilda took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up all careful-like before handing it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it as it's be worth a few bob.
Yes, Gina was sure the disc must be worth than what Mr. Windibank was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbling with him over the price that afternoon at the pawnbrokery.
The driver looked pretty happy when McGilda flashed some brass in his face. It went running off at a lick. Then the bog trotter called to me, told me to come out from the drag's cabin. It threatened me not to snitch.
Alright, we're gonna press on statement 5 here. Threaten you how exactly?
Told me I'd only be able to scalp if I did exactly what he said.
Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's it. And there was one other thing he said.
Which was...
He told me I'd have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it.
The ticket? Well, I never...
Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months passed, I had to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in luck to stop it from being forfeited. He left me with some brass to pay for it.
But really... Why on earth would Mr. McGilden have done such a thing? Depositing his overcoat with the pawnbroker before the arrival of the police makes no sense at all.
There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGilda had the driver deposit Windibanks was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs.
Anyway, after that, he let me go, so I licked it before the coppers showed up.
Well done, Gina. Can't have been easy to tell the truth like that.
Jeannie's really put her faith in you, Bruno.
Yes, and to thank her, she'll have to face a charge of perjury once this trial's over. So I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible.
It's Next time you really go for it, press her on every statement.
Alright. I suppose I should.
Oh, and another thing.
What's that?
Take a look at those two. Isn't it strange that they've been whispering to each other the entire time?
Yes, that is strange. Looks like they're having a secret discussion about something. I'm not sure I'm completely comfortable with that. I wonder if there's anything I can do about it. Okay. So what we're gonna do, I'm going to press on the first statement. I'm gonna take the autoplay off, and then we'll try to see if maybe I can...
Hold it!
Yeah. And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? Alright, so this is number one. If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats.
Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all.
Excuse me!
Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Graydon? Inspector, Mr. Graydon!
Blimey, you're trying to give me a heart attack?
You have been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is the discussion about?
Discussion with this fella? Pull the other one, sunshine. You think I've got anything to talk about with this shady gent like this?
I have nothing to say to this uncouth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine. But they've clearly been talking the entire time I've been cross-examining Gina. It's as if they've been negotiating.
You will kindly refrain from talking amongst yourself while the witness is giving testimony. Yes, sorry, my lord.
What were those two talking about?
Miss Lestrade, continue with your testimony, please.
Alright. Okay, so we need to press every statement now. So we did 4 and 5 technically, but they weren't paying attention, so we're gonna repress every single one. So, Brickmaker was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats.
Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all.
Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain that you claim Mr. McGilden was the sole passenger, do you not? False testimony, my lord.
That's what he told me I had to say.
But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilden and the victim acquaintances?
I don't know. But I am talking a lot.
What were they talking about?
Well, I couldn't hear too well, but if I had to say, I think it was about money or something. He kept talking about buying and not buying.
Perhaps business dealings of some kind.
Well, anyway, they got louder and louder. It started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I only dared to breathe, and then all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone killing over on the floor. It was blooming loud and all.
I believe you let out an involuntary scream.
Yeah. That's what gave me away.
Alright, statement 2. Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, saw the disc on the floor.
Hold it!
What's the disc you saw? This disc.
Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to the gold lying on the floor.
Could this disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps?
I don't know, but McGilda picked it up pretty smartish. And now he's at the cove with the knife in his belly on the seat.
What did he say to you at that time?
He told me not to say a word about what I seen or heard to no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared. The way he was looking at me, I thought if I didn't go along with it, I get stuck with that knife too. Then he started asking me a load of questions. Like what my name was and where I lived, and he asked me about being a diver too.
But after a while, what had happened in the carriage was noticed.
Yeah, that's right. First it was kind of a kind of rapping noise.
A scream from over my head, pair on the roof deck went to call the slugs.
Hold it!
There were 2 gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe.
That's right. They must have looked down to the skylight and noticed the cove with the knife in his guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled up the horses and my God had got me out of sight.
Out of sight. Where?
Back on the seat where I stalled off. Once the carriage came to a halt, the 2 goats from the roof ran to fetch the slopes.
If they immediately left to fetch the police, it would appear they were entirely unrelated to the incident.
So that left McGilda, the driver, and he's still at the scene.
Yeah, only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and a voice from the outside.
The driver, yes. He also testified in the trial, I believe.
A fellow who went by the name of Beppo, if memory serves.
Well, by the name Beppo, if memory serves.
Excuse me, I thought that was Beppo talking. What did McGilda and the driver say to each other?
I don't know what happened and stuff like that, mainly.
Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, counsel. I've heard enough. I believe we now have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus. It would appear that on that night 2 months ago, a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. Negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over price, McGilda took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life.
Which proves my point. The disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way. Although I don't understand why as yet.
And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, McGilda's coats and its contents were due to be forfeited.
I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, the cove died right after his trial. I knew that.
So you decided you would try to claim the articles as your own?
But why not, eh? They were only going to be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have gotten them? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking ain't no crime.
Miss Lestrade, it would appear Mr. McGilda was prepared in order to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be?
I ain't got a clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. It was probably gonna sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking ain't no crime.
My lord. Bailiff. The evidence your lordship requested has been located and is ready for the court's inspection, sir. A mysterious little box deposited by McGilda 2 months ago. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. To be continued. Alright. This will be a good chance for me to get up and walk around, try to wake up a little bit. I'm so sorry for all the yawning I did. That was bad of me! I will admit, oh my gosh. With the sleep I got last night after the walk, oh my god, my back was in so much pain this morning. So I probably didn't sleep the greatest, so. Alright, well everybody, why don't we all go ahead and take a break now though. Get up, stretch, bathroom, water, whatever it is you need to do. I will be back in a few minutes myself. Thank you so much everybody that was here. Again, sorry for the double delay with the start today, but I will see you guys in a few minutes.